nomination.
And I already saw mine about Henry and support, because
Henry
everybody
Clark.
else has said there's been support
And
here.
Henry, I take it your nomination of Karen.
Yes.
And
I'll second that motion, and would like to again open questions or discussion about the motion.
Now, you're second.
The motion of the nomination of Karen as the chairman. And I just want to again clarify that you come to this without any prior affiliation. I do not come to this without prior opinion, but you come.
I did, honestly.
Okay, fair enough.
And I would also like to add, because I think Karen's unique on this committee in that she's got a 2-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 6-year-old.
Yes.
And the rest of us have been there. And I think that it's going to be incumbent upon us to kind of step up, you know, while we're asking Karen to leave.
Right.
You know, we're going to have to step up and support her because she's got a full plate being mom. And
Thank you. We're very busy.
I know.
Okay, so your acceptance speech now.
Okay.
I will do my very best to.
It's been moved and seconded that our chairperson be Karen. All those in favor signify.
I want to raise your hand.
Those opposed?
Well, first of all, I'd like to just say thank you for including us in this preliminary meeting. I'm very excited about any group that is looking to improve our schools. Hopefully anything that we identify that can improve the schools in the Fairhope feeder pattern can also be applied any place in the county. I know in the past there have been those who felt like the Board of Education is a stifling factor, but I will give you an example of Gulf Shores recently where the City Council has made an initiative to provide $2 million to enhance what they're doing in that feeder pattern. Certainly that's the type of thing that we could look at here in Fairhope too. If that's something that this committee concluded would be an improvement in the schools and the program available. So we're open to lots of considered ideas, and I'm anxious to hear all of your thoughts on how we can make our schools better. I too have some thoughts about how I'd like to see our schools improve, not only in Fairhope, but also across the county. And I think we all recognize that it's probably an issue of funding more than anything else. Pardon me. That's all I have to say.
That's it.
You know, I'm not part of this committee. I want to work with this committee to do whatever I can to help it come to conclusions about what we can do to improve the schools in the Fairhope feeder pattern. My impression was that this committee would be focusing on programmatic issues and programmatic questions as opposed to the more micro investigatory perception that I've gotten from the discussion of what would happen in the school. I was trying to imagine if you spent a day in our schools talking to teachers, what you would conclude that would in turn result in being able to vastly improve the schools. Because we've got some outstanding teachers, and you all know that we've got some teachers that aren't outstanding. But that's true in any business or any organization. You have variations in competence and performance. It's my belief that if there's a focus for this committee, it's on programs. What is it that we don't have that we need more of? Or how can we enrich what we do have? You know, if we want to get down to talking to children, I talk to students at each high school on advisory teams on about once every 2-month basis to find out what it is about their school that they would like to improve. And they focus on cafeteria and breaks and those sorts of things. But generally they're very happy with their classes and happy with their teachers, but they want more opportunities. And so I would hope that your final mission statement would look at programs and look at ways to enhance what's already occurring in the schools. And I don't think that's done on a micro level. I think that's done on a macro level. I think you look at other systems in our state or in our nation that have programs that you believe set them apart. And Fairhope schools and Baldwin County schools should be apart from every place else. And so I would hope you would work in that way. As to your going into the schools, we have parents in our schools all the time that talk to teachers. I see them there when I'm in the schools. They do anecdotal investigation, where they say, well, how are things going? And they get information in that way. But I don't know that that's the most effective way to improve the feeder pattern. I think you look at the big picture.
I'm sorry, Mr. Calvin.
The question about timeline, and I'm going to share with you politically one of the key things that I, as an elected official, am faced with the schools. And that is in regard to timeline, and there will be an initiative for permanent funding for the schools that is going to come forth at some point in the next X months. And I don't know what X is, I don't even know what Y is, so I haven't grasped that. But at some point in the foreseeable future, time to be determined, there will be of necessity an initiative. If this committee has work that would lead to something, or has got work that could create or did create some ambiguity in the air in Fairhope about funding and taxes and things of that nature, I believe in my heart that ambiguity surrounding tax issues is detrimental to the tax issue. And so I'm not telling you what the timeline is, but I am telling you we'll learn sometime in the next 90 days, probably, Alan, when an election will be set.
When you say an election of?
An election that would be at the request of the Baldwin County Board of Education to enact permanent funding.
Okay, so.
Permanent funding, or at least 20-year funding. That's supposed for a man my age, that's permanent. But
I'm a 10-year man myself.
but permanent funding to address issues that may arise from the penny tax going away, the ad valorem taxes that are up for renewal, and those types of things. So clarity in the community about taxes and tax dollars is something that I would just tell you I believe is important, and I would hope the committee in their work would consider.